Hey guys! So today I'm going to be talking about the tampon tax and why we should completely dismantle it in the United States, at least for a start. The reason why we have a tampon tax is because period products produce such a large amount of tax revenue. In Texas alone, period products produce $23.9 million of tax revenue. That's a lot of money. And luckily for the state of Texas, period products aren't covered by SNAP or welfare, which means that they do have to be bought full price and taxed all the time, which is kind of ridiculous if you ask me. 30 states still tax period products no matter what. There are some states that have decided to rid their tax, at least for a little bit, and some states who have decided to rid their tax altogether, but 30 states still do tax period products. Also, affordable access to period products is kind of a necessity in the world because for low-income women, having no access to period products can mean things like missing school and missing work, which then puts them behind or can jeopardize their employment, which does become a big deal considering that women do bleed for a week at a time when they're menstruating. Speaking of how long women menstruate, many women will bleed for 10 years of their lives. Obviously not consecutively, but for just about 10 years of their lives, women will spend that time menstruating. It's a lot, and when you think about it, that's a lot of tampons, pads, and I know it's a lot because it is a stat that about 16,000 tampons can be bought by one menstruating woman throughout their life. So that's a lot of money considering tampons typically come in boxes of like 12, 24, or you can get the mega packs for like 48 sometimes if they're on sale. 1 in 5 women in the state of Texas that are in the age group of 12 to 44 live below the federal poverty line, which means that a majority of menstruating women in the state of Texas already have financial issues, and now they have to deal with their period and financial issues and not being able to afford many things, which can sometimes be pads and tampons. And when they can't afford those things, then they have to find unhygienic ways of helping their menstruation process every month, and that can mean things like folding up towels or other pieces of clothing to prevent their blood from going through their pants or their underwear or their undergarments. And then that can lead to things like bacterial vaginosis, or it can lead to toxic shock syndrome if it's inserted in the vagina, and that's just not safe, and I don't think any woman should ever have to go through that problem. The IRS does use that tax revenue for a lot of things. As you could tell, just $23 million is from the tax on period products in the state of Texas. So you imagine the other 29 states, that's a lot of money for them to be using, but unfortunately they don't use it towards any programs that try to alleviate the issue of non-accessible period products, which they should. So that's why we have these grassroots campaigns, which are started by lovely people with big hearts who rely on outside people, like people with money, people with time, people with energy, people with love, to help them better supply young women, older women, children with period products. And those companies involve Alliance for Period Supplies, which is a program that is run by the National Diaper Bank Association for young mothers and young women. The American Medical Association does back legislation to end the tampon tax on period products, so they do continuously advocate for those bills to be put in place in many different states. Helping Women Period is a tax-exempt organization that puts together period kits to give to young women and older women and low-income women so that they can help alleviate their periods as well and supply them with products that they'll need. Simply the Basics does the same exact thing, and so does Period Equity. They all do the same thing and rely on the same people to get these things done, all in different states. Luckily, Texas does have a representative who pushes for the banishment of the tampon tax. Her name is Donna Howard, and she is a representative of Austin. She has tried to push her bill, HB 311, multiple times, the past 2 times she's done it, it's unfortunately died in committee. However, this year she is going to do it again, so I do hope that everyone decides to advocate and lobby against the tampon tax and help it be more affordable for women who need it.